Hello friends, it's KT. I'm sitting here on the ground with a bin full of blasters. I got to meet Beret one time, and I gave him a chocolate bar, but what he didn't realize was it was a Faustian bargain for me to steal the concept of sitting on the ground with a bin of blasters and recording a video, so thanks. Who's the man with the hat now? So I had wanted to do a here's all the stuff I'm taking to Maryland Mayhem video before leaving, and it just didn't wind up being feasible. And now that we're back from the 3-day event, I figured I would go through instead and see the state of things now that the event is over and show you what things look like in retrospect, and things that, knowing what I know now, I might have done differently. Now, I wasn't traveling alone. I also had my older kid with me, and so that affected the blasters that I decided to pack and what I thought would be useful and appropriate for us on this trip. But I think the pile itself tells most of the story, so without further ado, let's start going through it. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't fit in the case at all, like this nut gatherer, which seems to have a elite dart stuck in it. I didn't actually wind up using this, mostly because it doesn't fit in the case, so it was hard to carry into venues, and so I just didn't wind up bringing it most of the time. We also didn't actually wind up taking any rival blasters with us. I thought that we were going to take a Percy's initially, and then we changed our plans. What we did take for doing dart sweeps was a couple of these grabby arms, and this is the one that is the nicer of the two that broke during the trip. And someone else, which I'm very thankful for, did a repair to it where they seem to have put two sticks wrapped in orange tape as sort of a splint. It still grabbies just fine, so this will be sticking around. Also up top, this is the only blaster that I bought from someone that I brought home. This is the Arbalest, and it is in fact a giant dart firing crossbow. These rods are the actual power source for the blaster. It's unstrung right now, and it's really like a prototype. Foamdemic built this. It's designed by Artificial Armories. I'm going to spend some time with it and see if I can get it firing harder, because it shoots about 100 right now, but it has the capability to shoot over 200, so this should be really fun to fiddle around with. Is this practical? Not especially, but you know, Jade at Foamdemic was really trying to get rid of the prototype, and I was like, I'll take it. That sounds like a lot of fun. Also not fitting in the bin is something that's not directly Nerf related at all. This is my uketar. I'm writing a song every day in the month of April, and so I needed an instrument that I could use to do that, and successfully wrote songs through the whole trip. As always, this instrument served me quite well. I wound up making up one song along with the zombie bard who was in the horde at UMBC. That will go back upstairs where the music things are. Next, we have this stylish family foam sport tote bag available at our merch store. Here are some of the kid-size safety glasses that I usually carry. These are inexpensive and have held up in all the testing that I've done on them, and so I really appreciate having them. They fit all of my kids quite well. Here is darts. So I have 2 containers of worker short darts that I actually did not wind up using. I have some bags of darts that I picked up at the HVZ, including a bin of Rival. I did take some fresh darts that I wound up donating to the club on day 3, but I did wind up with these darts coming home with me. Now in this bag, I have a lot of socks, and they have my name on them, and I think I actually got most of the socks back that I took, but I didn't really expect to, especially at like an HVZ. You're gonna throw them, and then you just kind of, you know, fingers crossed. Now, I didn't actually wind up throwing any socks. There were a couple times when I wanted to or was trying to, and it wound up not being necessary. There weren't special zombies in the UMBC HVZ that required that kind of thing to be taken out, so it didn't wind up being super necessary. Here's the red team blue team bracelets that I picked up at the merch bin at 11th hour from the Maryland Foam Alliance. These are really cool and a really great idea, and I would love to be able to get more of these, because as I discovered, retying bandanas, trying to switch teams was kind of a lot, and it's great to be able to rebalance your teams consistently. Perry from Out of Darts gave me an awesome patch, which I'm going to have to figure out where that's gonna go. That's not the only patch I received, but I have to figure out where the other one is. Here is our water bottle backpack. I've had this for years and years and years. Got my auxiliary pin on here. I got my bi-flag patch on here, and the water bladder inside. It's quite old and it probably needs to be replaced, but actually during this event, the bite valve got lost. So I, at this point, need to decide if I'm just getting a whole new bladder for this backpack or if I'm gonna try and repair this one. But it served us well through the HVZ. Highly recommended to take something like this. And if you're traveling with a kid, I don't recommend trying to share one, because if one of you gets tagged and the other one doesn't, one of you's not gonna have water. Here is a Sacagawea dollar coin that I found during the HVZ during Dart Sweep. We out here making money. And the final thing that will not fit in the bin, I took my Gjallarhorn. I didn't bother even attaching this piece. I know that some people's work better than mine, but this piece has never stayed on correctly for me, so I simply left it off because I didn't want to lose it. Also, when I got there, the door popped off, the shell door popped off, and I just decided to leave it off because all it's going to do is get in the way. I got to use the Gjallarhorn when we were doing Civil War at the end of 11th hour. I also loaned it to Beret to use in another round. Now the bin itself is a Milwaukee pack-out bin. It was actually relatively expensive, but I knew that I could, if I got a good quality bin, I could also use it for tools and other things around the house later. And I picked this one up because it was the best balance of quality and also the ability to fit most of the blasters I could see myself wanting to take. Inside, I picked up some t-shirts at the merch table. Southern Maryland House of Nerf. There's more shirts, but I guess they're farther down. Here's another grabby arm. This is actually the cheaper of the two, but this one wound up in better condition at the end of the day. They just fold open. Maybe I spoke too soon. These are the kinds of things that anytime I see them, I just thrift them automatically. And then when we go on a trip like this, they're super helpful. Now, one of the things that I wanted to try to do on this trip, I didn't want to bring lipos and I didn't really want to deal with magazines a ton. But I did want to have some kind of full auto option. And so I took the Alpha Auto 72. It obviously doesn't keep up with most of the lipo powered full auto blasters out there, but it does lay down decent cover fire and it runs on 6 AA batteries. We both have these really cool canvas dump pouches. We actually got these for foraging in the woods, but they function great as Nerf dump pouches for holding socks and darts. Definitely recommend having something like that for pretty much any game type. This here is a little homemade belt that my kid uses as sort of a tack belt for carrying magazines and carrying dump pouches. Here is the first of a number of mag holders with a couple Talon mags in it. Here is my BuzzBee Tek6. This has a 3D printed cylinder installed in it that Jolt King 627 designed. Jolt King does not have a 3D printer and still designed this, and it works really, really well. This hits about stock numbers very consistently, and I actually used it a bunch and got a handful of tags with it, both at the HVZ and at 11th hour. And it's just a great conversation starter because the Tek6 is such a funky, cool blaster that is generally unusable because of the way the original barrels work. Here's the inside tray that comes in my Milwaukee carrier. Got a couple Talon mags in here. Here is a Proud Papa, and I took this assuming that Mega would do something special. I do love these, but I never needed it. Here are the shells for the Gjallarhorn. So I have the stock shells. Here's the Elite shell, 3 Mega shells. On day 1, I got to meet Ryan from Silver Fox Industries, and I just bought them out of all of the Gjallarhorn shells that they had. More Elite shells. Here's an orange one and a white one. And then I have a Mega shell in dark gray, and an Ultra shell in... Wait, the white shell is... One of these is an Ultra shell. One of these orange ones is an Ultra shell. Anyway, and a Mega XL shell. I picked up a few patches and a sticker at the merch booth, and they won't come out of the tray. I got the Boomstick Pride sticker, Mountain Pew Baja Blaster patch, the Boomstick Mods patch, and a Taco Hell patch. And my other t-shirts, they gave out Containment Crew shirts right at the end of the day, and I also picked up a Maryland Nerf Herder shirt in blue as well. Here is my shotgun holster, and I actually used this a bunch. I got really comfortable pulling my lever action Saturn out of it during the HVZ, where I used this blaster a ton and really had a lot of fun with it. This is the kit designed by Shanye and made by Silver Fox Industries. It functioned perfectly. I had a really great time with it. But what's in here for protection is actually my kid's skewer. Now, this is the same kid that built their own skewer with parts 3D printed by me. Right before we left, we realized it didn't quite meet the bright color standards that all the events required for this weekend, so I reprinted some parts in bright pink that we swapped in. We also got Taffy to sign it right there, and extremely on brand that Taffy misspelled their name initially and then had to issue a correction. So here's my drop leg holster. I use this with a variety of blasters. Pretty much every blaster I use that's like sidearm shaped fits in it one way or another, but I did forget to bring the cross strap, so you can see I put a bunch of electrical tape on here. I brought this, but again, Mega XL didn't do anything special except for busting shields on 11th hour, and so I kind of wish I had used it that day, but ultimately it just didn't make it out of the bag. I also brought this strong arm that has an upgraded spring in it. I used it a little bit, but it doesn't hit that much harder than the Tek6, and the Tek6 is just quirkier and more fun, so I kind of used that more. I brought my Spamf, and I had it chronoed for HVZ, but didn't wind up using it at all. Here is a Villainator, which I was using when I got tagged during the UNBC Invitational. And I've got a vintage Super Soaker sling on it, and otherwise it's literally just stock. This is what I originally had the Proud Papa attached to. I have another one of these slings. I was using this as a camera bag sling. Here's my little toolkit that I carry for fixing blasters. This came in handy a handful of times. Now is actually a good time to talk about a couple things that I took with me that didn't come back. One of them is I took the Pirhana that I got from Blaster Barn, which was Drac's original Captain Slug printed Pirhana that was in his review of the Pirhana, because I wanted to give it to Taffy. And now Taffy is going to help me get a red herring. He was actually able to get the Pirhana up and running again because I had sort of like gotten halfway there. I replaced a couple parts, but out of this toolkit I was able to pull my bag of random slug parts and find all the parts that were needed to get the Pirhana going. So carrying a bag of parts like that, even if you're just using stock blasters and you have some extra screws and stuff, is always really helpful.
Oh yeah, so that dude has not been counting.
Oh, I'm so excited to see you use that thing.
So that's my toolkit. Here's my safety glasses. They're prescription safety glasses from Zenny, I think. They were pretty inexpensive and they've treated me extremely well. 2 containers of Mega XL darts that I did not open. 1 Tachi mag. Here's like the one thing that we thrifted. I think this is the Jin Erso blaster. I don't know. It's one of the Star Wars blasters that makes sounds. Sunscreen, extremely important. I don't feel great about using spray products like this, but it is extremely convenient, and neither I nor my kid had any kind of sunburn. I took 2 of these Nerf modulus cameras with me, and I love slapping these on other people's blasters just to get random footage. Unfortunately, I just never got around to doing it. I also have this rail attachment for dart storage, and we went with 2. So my kid actually started the HVZ day with a Sweet Revenge with one of these attached to the top, but when they got tagged, they just put the blaster down somewhere and we didn't wind up coming back with it. Not a huge deal. I hope someone out there is enjoying their new Sweet Revenge, or the club is able to keep it and use it. We bought these little hampers at Walmart for $4 and used them, the little spring-loaded open ones, and used them for dart sweeps. Amazing combo to have the little hamper and to have this. I bought 2 of them, but I wound up donating one of them to the Nerf clubs at the end of the day on 11th hour because it was already full of half darts, and I was like, you know what? Y'all need it more than I do right now. Just keep it. Here we get into the stuff I literally just tossed in the bin at the end of the day. Here's my GoPro charger, still plugged into a battery backup. Here's my good recording microphone. I was looking for this before recording this video. I'm using my backup microphone, so hopefully the audio isn't garbage, but yay, I found it. Screwdrivers that I brought in addition to my tool bag. Super glue I didn't use for anything. Here's another ultra shell for the Gjallarhorn. Here's some more mega darts I didn't use. Here's a sock that doesn't belong to me. Here's the sight off the Alpha Auto 72. Here's more Talon magazines. And finally, another piece of sunglasses and a wrapper from a snack bar. So that's everything that I took with me, in addition to clothes and stuff to take care of humans. So yeah, I have footage from all 3 days. Huge ups to all the organizers who were involved in all of these events. We had a ton of fun. And I'm excited to go through all that footage and share a lot of that with y'all. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I may just do a breakdown of each day, but each of those videos will probably look quite different. We both were turned into zombies just before lunch, so we weren't involved in a lot of the mission stuff as the day went on. So I can't give like a really complete picture of what the story was or the idea behind the whole event was, but I will try to give my best image of what the event was like. I have to go stream music like right now, so I gotta cut this one short. But as always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I gotta go. I'll see you on the field. All right, I'm here with Maritime Foam.
Hey.
It is early. We're ready for HVZ. Would you say that you feel ultra prepared?
Oh boy. That killer joke.
Thanks.
I do.
I do my best.
How about you?
Two dads got to make the dad jokes.